same front, when I talked a little bit about the demographics, breaking it down even further, and one of the biggest demographic, I guess, lacks we have here is that of African American females, and we're working exceptionally hard to change that. However, there is a big disparity from that standpoint. Now, as a graduate, what do you say to future African American high schoolers that are very interested in Kings Point, that are very interested in the Service Academy, particularly Kings Point, but they look at the demographics and they say, like, you know, that's the determining factor. What do you say to those individuals?
Well, I mean, I go back to my earlier statement about you choose Kings Point because you want kind of a unique experience. Yes, you can go to a school where, you know, the numbers even out a little bit and you start to see more faces that look like yours, and that is important, but this is a place where you can really set yourself apart. You can accept that kind of challenge, and you can, once you're a graduate, work to bring more people from all kinds of different dynamics. The workplace is obviously becoming more diverse every day, but in some industries it is still very, can be very monotone at times. So it prepares you, I think, for the real world, and to know that you're going to be judged here on your merit. We're all in the same uniform, so you're going to be judged on what you do, not so much how you look.
Okay, awesome. Sounds good. Now, Lieutenant Short, you first attended preparatory school at the at the Naval Academy Preparatory School.
Yes.
That's where we sent all our prep students a few years back, and now we're with the New Mexico Military Institute. So talk a little bit about your prep school experience and motivate the individuals that are going there this year.
I thought the experience was awesome. At the point where I went, it was in Newport, Rhode Island, actually at the naval station there, and they also do the officer indoctrination course, I believe, OIC.
Okay.
There they do surface warfare, and it's an operating Navy institution, so also the Naval War College. You're basically thrown onto this Navy base and you get a taste of real military. In me looking into the academies, my intention was to go active duty before coming to the academy, so I really appreciated the fact that I was able to go to NAPS and kind of soak that in. And especially in NAPS, a lot of people come from prior enlisted backgrounds where you also get, I guess, like peer one-on-one, training from them. You get to observe them and you get to hear about their experiences. And aside from that, academically, it really, really helped me out here at Kings Point. Granted, it is still a tough institution no matter what. We had basic foundations of English, chemistry, physics, and mathematics. More the higher level of mathematics, calculus, and that sort of thing. Especially for students who are maybe shying away from those levels of instruction in high school, which I did. Pre-calculus scared the daylights out of me. Coming to Kings Point knowing that the level you're going to have to study at is Calculus 1, Calculus 2 for the engineers, the differential equations. You really do need that background, so NAPS definitely helps. And not only that, it's a basic introduction to the regimental life. Getting used to living with a roommate. It's not just like a dorm. You actually have a bunk, you make your rack. So you kind of have a heads up when you come into indoctrination, and you already know this stuff. So you stand out, and they expect you to be a leader, essentially.
It's very interesting when the kids come in during indoc, particularly when they first form up in front of Wiley Hall. You can tell who the prep students are,
Yes.
and who the straight out of high school civilians are.
Yes.
So it's very interesting noticing that from an observation standpoint. Now, you guys have all mentioned in high school you were very involved, activities, athletics. How did that translate to the academy? What were you involved with here from an athletic standpoint, and did you have any leadership posts within the regiment?
Well, I was involved with the women's basketball at Kings Point. Also held a few petty officer billets. During senior year, I first held the billet of the regimental adjunct,
Okay.
and then later I was the 4th company commander.
Okay.
My freshman year, or plebe year, I played volleyball, and playing two sports is very difficult, which I primarily am a softball player. So the years thereafter, I only played softball, so I was a 4-year softball player. Regimental-wise, I held several petty officer positions, which you hold on your second class and third class years. And my first class year, I was a 4th company commander.
Okay.
I played basketball all 4 years, loved it. I was also, again, held a few petty officer positions in preparation for senior year. And then I was a company executive officer and a battalion commander.
And you guys played basketball together, I take it?
Yes, we
And
did.
you were a part of the, was that the founding basketball team here? Was that the founding class?
No, we weren't part of the founding class.
Okay.
I think
We were
that
the
was
second year.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yes.
All right, very good. Very good.
So we got to play with those who
Yes.
started it, and it
Right.
was a great experience.
Yes, yes. Hopefully they can make some moves next year.
Yeah.
I'm dying for it to happen. Our men's basketball team made it to the NCAA, so I'm waiting for the ladies to do the same. Now let's talk careers. Or actually first, before we get to careers, let's talk C year. Now we talked a little about C year, but more specifically, where did you go and what ships did you working for?
Oh my goodness.
If you can
So
recall.
long ago.
Well, I mean, there's so many places that we went to. For the most part, to the Mediterranean, my first vessel. I went to the Persian Gulf on a tanker ship, and then I was on a ro-ro ship out in the Pacific. So all over the place. It was a wonderful experience.
I worked, my first ship was a container line with Maersk, or Canadian ship with Maersk Line, a west coast to the Far East run, so hit California, Alaska, Japan, China, Korea. Was on that ship for about 4 months. Did a few weeks on the Puerto Rico to Jacksonville route,
It's a good
which
route.
was beautiful.
Yes.
Second sea year, I was on a ammunition carrier preposition operated by MARAD. So we carried a lot of cool things for the Navy and
Yes.
Army. Guam, Saipan, Japan, west coast of the U.S. And after that, a Mediterranean run with Maersk Lines once again.
Very good.
I was actually on a Marriott ship with
We were on
Sandy.
one ship together.
Had a very
Nice.
good time. I hit the Med as well, Italy, Spain. I was also on an MSC ship that went to Greece. Spent some time there, the West Coast, Hawaii, California,
Wow.
Seattle, Washington, that area, and then Northern Europe as well.
Wow. At my school, we went to one country, and you picked and you paid. Then you
Oh.
went to all these places, so I'm jealous. I'm very, very jealous. Every alumni that I happen to meet talks so much, almost brags to the point that Kings Pointers are the tightest of all of the Service Academy alumni groups, and it's been consistent from ages to races to sexes and genders. From every alum that I've met. And I want to know from your perspective, being younger alum, thus far, is that the case? Are you guys the tightest of all the Service Academy alumni? I guess, or at least speak for Kings Point. It seems like you're tight. You're all still here. You're all 2005 grads.
Without a doubt, we meet occasionally people from other academies, and they're as involved, I guess, as they want to be. But with Kings Point, the Alumni Foundation here really reaches out to midshipmen. And, as soon as they graduate, they're in contact with you. They're telling you where the closest alumni chapter is, letting you know about the the blue and gray events that they're having. They sign you up on the website. They present you with job opportunities if you're interested in those. Of course, you keep in touch with your friends, but as far as the alumni, it's amazing the way that that it's organized. You're able to keep in touch.
I think because we have such unique experiences and they're so different from the other academies. Granted, we're all service academies, we're all going to be very close regardless. But I think us especially, being merchant mariners, not a lot of people know about that. Going through the NDOC, which is very different from the other academies. I think it sets us apart from everybody else, and in that aspect we're that much closer, because it doesn't matter if you don't even know that person or you didn't know them that well at the academy. As soon as you know they're Kings Point,
Yes.
you automatically attach yourself to them. And I think that's the biggest thing that makes it.
Yeah, exactly. The bonds that you make with each person, it's a lifelong friendship that we have.
And we look out for each other.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It starts off from the very first day that you meet someone at the academy.
We just have such a history, regardless of what era or what time frame you were here. You have the 142, we have the battle standard, we have certain things that set us apart completely, and especially being the fact that we were the first academy to accept women. I think that's also another important factor, especially among us females.
Yes.